Renard, and we are back with some more tooling on this rose project here. I told myself I was done, and it turns out that I'm a freaking liar. So, let's get into it. So, what I'm doing now, for those who don't know, this is called casing the leather. So, I'm applying some water to the surface, whoa, so that I can get it ready to get some tooling. Oh, side note, my co-host, my partner in crime, Doug, is here in the room with me. Not too long ago, we just got back from the park, and I kept it to a pretty slow walk because it's so hot here. But I did jog a bit towards the back end for a quarter mile. So, and then we walked for a little bit more than a quarter mile, wrapped up the walk, and then drove home, got back, got him some water. He's not going to get food for a while, but he's laying on the tile trying to cool off. But he's in the room. You can probably hear him panting. And I'm going to try to make sure that the music isn't too loud, but so that it's still enjoyable. So, for anyone wondering how much water you should put into your piece, I've heard a lot of things because just one even layer isn't enough, especially not for something this thick. Let's see there. But I also heard someone say that it should go about halfway through the project. Quite honestly, I think that's just far too much. Largely because of the dry time. It would take hours upon hours for the water to evaporate out of the piece unless you left it in the sunlight or something. And even then, it would still take a while. And in this heat, I do not recommend leaving a piece out. Definitely not in the not in the sun. Probably also not even out in the shade. Not until about maybe 6:30 p.m. All right. So what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm going to do some texture around this and in between the stems and the leaves and or the leaves and the petals and whatnot, and also some texture inside here. Do I need to have this plugged up? No, I don't. I'm gonna move this a little closer, modify the volume here. All right. So, so that's what we're gonna do there. Definitely some texture in the center, and I'm still on the fence about the pear shader for the petals. Just on the fence. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But we'll set that down. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm gonna go ahead and start prepping the tools. Got this tool here for texture. This one here also for texture. My smooth beveler that I was looking for yesterday, I may use that, but I'm not sure. Also, my deep beveler. This might get used, probably not, but the possibility is there. And then this was my one of my other smaller bevelers. I'm not going to use that. See if there's anything else I can use here for the texture. Nope. And then again, just in case I'm feeling a little squirrely, the pears. Truthfully, these I'm gonna just put back into the kit here. This is my travel kit for my tools. So, and to limit the likelihood of them rattling and shaking together, I'm gonna put them all there because they've got the foam bed that they all sit in. So should keep them from making too much noise. One more thing, I'll be right back. Since I am back from the park, the watch of the day is my Tudor Black Bay 41, the no dive with the blue dial. I gotta polish that, but at the same time, I also like that there's some life and some use to it, you know? All right, so we talked about the tools, or rather the tooling bits. Got the mallet. It's gonna be a little bit odd. I'm kind of at a weird angle, but I want you all to be able to see what I'm doing. So okay. A couple of strays. And then lastly, but not leastly, I didn't do this last time, and truthfully, it's not really a hard and fast requirement, but it's never a bad idea to have the gloves on. Haven't done it recently, but I have done it before. Sometimes situations exist where the oils in your hands, or in your skin rather, will cause permanent dark marks on your piece. And if you can't fix it or somehow incorporate those dark marks into your piece, you effectively just permanently blemished it. All right. think that it's a much more pronounced texture. So I like this very much. And I want for this to be on the inside, or I want this to be in between and all over. It gives a great texture. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to border the outside of the leaves and the rose. And then for in between, so these areas here, for in there, I'm going to use this much smaller one. Just looking at my tools, double checking to make sure that's a good idea. Oh, it was not. This one's going back. This one will be used for the border, and this one will be used for the inside. Because I'm going to paint these. So I want for there to be a really just noticeable texture all around on top of the rose itself. So we are winning. Bend this down so it stays flat. All right. Make sure I'm not going crazy over here, like so. Whoa. That's terrible. There was some debris in there, but all right. Okay, so now we are 12 minutes in. Gonna go on ahead and get this thing rolling. Normally, you're supposed to wait until the piece has gotten back more or less its original color, which is some of this right here. The rest of this is a little bit darker, but honestly, the stream is dragging on, and I want to give you all something. So, here we go. Remember, move the piece, not yourself. For these smaller spots there and in here, I'm going to use that other piece I was talking about. But for these larger swaths, how close is that to the stitch line? Basically right there. I'll leave that for the smaller piece. Well, this is all over the stitch line, so that can come down to conventional wisdom is keep everything a good ways away from the stitch lines. I purposely made this so that it was going to come over. I wanted something that was bigger and bolder. Sue me. Go. Sorry, I forgot that in the way. Go. Okay. Damn it. I feel like I'm going to make my life harder. One, two, three. All right. Damn it. Doug, watch out. Can I use the smaller one? Where's the smaller one? Here we go. It's going to be in here. I'm missing happy hour. Damn it. Mm. I actually did like that sound quite a bit, but still. I'm so happy I decided to polish these when I did. Because before they looked terrible. I wouldn't be able to do this so smoothly had the finishes not been better. Oh, I totally forgot to do the inside. Do I have a better tool for this? I don't. Maybe I do. There we go. The texture shouldn't be the same. Too deep. Mm, have to do this because I messed up. All right. Hold down again. the better texture. So I don't need as much force. All right. So I'm going to color that. That's going to be black with a little bit of yellow for pollen. All right. So leaf, 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 stem, red rose. There's that little. Da-da. There we go. So I don't know when I started doing this, but this part of the rose here, I guess the center of the bud, the part that's still more tightly packed because these petals have opened up more. What I started doing was rounding the edges here. So I'm not pushing them down, but they're kind of flat, like how this edge is. So I guess this is serving the same effect as beveling, were it on the edge. So I'm gonna try to get some close-ups so that you can see it better. I'm gonna do this with my right hand. The camera's gonna get blocked for a bit, but I'm right-handed, so I just need the dexterity. Just give me a bit. Still really hard with my hand all messed up. That's the worst part. I'm trying to do the work of all my hand with, you know, a finger and a half. So it's a rough one. Like my hand wants to move, but only certain fingers can feel. Yeah. So I guess I'm just burnishing the body again, so it's not cut flat like so, but has a nice rounded effect. So I haven't done that here, or even on the edges there. But let's do a better job of it so it's more obvious, evident. But also, I'm only going to do half of it so that you can see where it stops, so the effect is there. I really hope that this isn't something that's just seen by me and lost on the eventual owner. I hope this is something where the little bit of the craftsmanship shows up. This absolutely falls into the category of, hey man, nobody asked for that. But I mean, truthfully, there's a lot of stuff that people make that nobody asked for, and it turns out is pretty dope. So that's why we do this. That is why we do this. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna bring this a little closer so that the effects are there, so you can see what I'm talking about when I say that it rounds it while still leaving it lifted. Okay, so when this is cut with a swivel knife and then beveled, what you're left with is the leather just being left up flush with the side that the beveler was on, or the backgrounding tool pushing down the leather. So imagine this is the flat part of the leather that was pushed down, and this is what's left up. You have this like flat drop off. And roses and flowers in general, they're more rounded as in their appearance. So we've got the edges of the rose with more rounded ends that you can see. All right, I can take that off. So you can see here and here in this area and around the body there that the edge of the rose is more rounded. And this part here, I didn't do that with yet. So you can see that it's much more of a just flat drop off as opposed to a rounded edge. Same thing there. So basically rounded, not rounded, rounded, not rounded, rounded around there. I think I did round this part, but the rest of it, not yet. And the edges actually look a little bit rougher because they haven't been effectively burnished. So I'm going to do that for a bit, and then that should be all that's needed for this to be done so far as tooling. And next is just letting it dry and then paint. Hopefully anybody there, if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask away. I try to not gatekeep. If I know it, then I will answer it. You know what? Let me check the chats real quick, just in case, see if anybody asked a question that I missed. Live chat. Okay, sweet, didn't miss nothing. Oh, what was that? All right. Saw something pop up on the screen and didn't know what it was. I did not plan this out when I put this right side. I can only work with my left so that y'all can see what I'm doing, which will look horrible and sloppy because I am the 80+% of the U.S. population that's right-handed. I'm not even ambidextrous. You'd think I would be with all the complaining that I do about my hand, but no, never developed full ambidexterity. Although brushing my teeth with my left hand, that turned out to be an odd skill. I'll take it though. You go 4 decades without having to switch, and then you have to switch. Yeah, if anybody has any questions about that, let me know. I'm less of an open book about it, but I mean, some stuff I'll answer. Oh, that's right. I got to do the thing in there too. That's hurtful. Please note, this is not the proper way to use the pear shader. However, I do get the results that I'm looking for this way. There are a ton of tutorials that teach you the proper way to use this tool. So by all means, please use it that way. This is not a tutorial on how to use the pear shader. Not at all. Don't do what I'm doing. It is a path to destruction. All right. I think I've got about what I want from this. So now it's just got to dry. Um, yep, yep, good to go so far as this thing here. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any requests, I'll take those too. Probably not tonight, but for later live streams, absolutely. If you like what's going on, go ahead and slide me that like. If you really like it, go ahead and subscribe. This will be a thing that will be for sale, but I think I might make one this weekend that will be part of a giveaway. Oh, sweet, got two people hopping in. If you got any questions, let me know. Hit me up. Um, I don't know if I should do the backside because no one's ever gonna see it. But for right now, let's break out all of what happened here. Shader. Whoa. Mm. So these are all of the tools that I used to make this. So swivel knife, ceramic, the quarter-inch blade at an angle. This is the eighth-inch blade filigree at a steeper angle. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head though, but this is the filigree knife. This swivel knife is from Tandy. This one is from Craft Japan. I got from the Tokyo Hands in Yokohama, just outside the Yokohama station. Shout out to them. Barry King Deep Beveler. Didn't use it too much, but I did use it. Initially, I used the Tandy large no texture beveler and the where you at? Here we go. And the textured eighth-inch bevel, excuse me, eighth-inch beveler for the initial stamp around there. Small beveler that I use today for some of the interior pieces. For most of the stamping outside, I use this background tool. I'm sorry, I said stamping. Most of the backgrounding around the piece, I use the background tool. For getting inside the nooks and crannies, I use this other smaller, almost pear-shaped or teardrop-shaped background tool. The smaller pear shaper and can't keep forgetting the name of the thing, but the pear tool, and then the larger one for the petals to give me this pressed in look. Whoa. The eighth-inch bevel for getting inside the finer work inside the flower petals themselves, and this texture, this background texture piece here, I wanted to use for the inside, but I wasn't happy with the look, so I went with something that was more pronounced. And to fix a mistake that I made, I used my machinist tool. Actually, for a couple of mistakes I made in the previous live stream and this one, I used the machinist tool, various ends. All right, now I don't know if there's too much else that can be done with the piece needing to dry. But again, I don't think I said it. What's going to happen afterwards is there's going to be acrylic paint. So once it's dry, I'm going to go uh, red with the rose, forest green for the stem, and probably going to go with the oil black for the background. I don't think I have enough black paint for this. I think I just have a small amount left, and I really don't feel like driving 32 miles round trip just for a small container of black paint. So it's going to be several coats of the black dye, and then the paint over the dye. Always remember that the paint dye first, then the paint. Sometimes you can, so if you go paint first, if it's an acrylic paint, the dye doesn't always soak in and it doesn't always mess it up, but sometimes it can. So I would recommend dye first because painting will just go right over that. That's just my opinion. If somebody else says different and you trust them more, by all means, go ahead and take their advice. And while we are here, let me go on ahead and mark the stitch line again over the sections that were textured over. Yeah, you can see those. There that goes. Come on. Mm, these compasses. There we go. Much better. Okay. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Gonna go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Gonna go ahead, put these tools away, let the dog out, the literal dog out. That's not a metaphor. Then go and try to catch some the rest of Wing Wednesday over at Hooters. All right. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it for your time and support. I'm Jay Renard, and I'm out. Peace. Again, watch of the day. Peace. If I can find the right button, here we go.